Hey, Shalom family. Thank you so much for hey, Shalom family. I want to welcome you here to this ministry. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kristen and hey, Shalom family. My name is Kristen. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you have stumbled across my page. Whether this is your first time here or you have tuned into a video of mine before, there ain't been that many, but it's a few. Thank you. Whether you're new or just joining, my bad. Whether you're new or you've been here before. So I have not done a video since May, and y'all has really been convicting me and really just like, girl, what are you doing? Like, people need to hear from you. Like, you have a voice like that you can be using to share the gospel, to share what I'm saying in my word, right? So I'm like, okay, I got to get back in the game. I got to stop playing. I don't even know why I took so much time off, but the fact of the matter is we are back, baby. We are back. And today I want to talk about faith. I want to talk about faith. And this message is so timely because over the past few months, especially since May, since I did my last video, a lot has changed for me spiritually. And my faith has really been strengthened during this time. And a couple of weeks ago, I was studying Hebrews for the Shabbat, and I stumbled across Hebrews 11, and it was talking about faith, and it made me have a conversation with my mom where I was just like, our faith has really been strengthened over these past few months, and it's just going to continue to do so, as we prepare to endure for the end, as we continue to, strive for the mark and really, walk in righteousness and walk in holiness. You got to have faith in order to be able to endure all the things, that happens on this earth in our lives, and having to endure all of the tricks and snares from the enemy. We have to have faith in order to do so. So when we were talking, I was like, it made me realize back in the day when I said I had faith, it was real shaky. Like, my faith was not where it needed to be. And I'm not even quite sure if I even realized like what it even took to really have that faith that we need. So I want to get into that today. I'll be doing a brief meditation on what faith is and what it isn't, and walking through Hebrews 11 to give some examples of what it means to truly walk by faith, okay? So what exactly is faith? Hebrews 11:1 says that now faith is the substance or the confidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So it's having that firm belief, a firm persuasion, having assurance, having a firm conviction in something, and having faithfulness towards something, right? So literally, faith simply just means to trust, to be able to trust in a thing, to trust in someone, having faith in someone, right? So in this context, when you have trust in Yah, the result of that trust is obedience to his word and will for your life. And through that, your faith is strengthened over time. And that's Proverbs 3:5. And when we have faith or belief in something, right, a change in our actions are supposed to come about. So that's why earlier I was saying that my faith really wasn't where it needed to be, because I was still lukewarm, doing what I wanted to do. Yeah, I would say I was believing him, trusting in him, loving him, but I really wasn't spending time with him like that. And I really wasn't being obedient to his words, to his commands. So how could I really have the faith that I said I have? Like, if my faith level's supposed to be up here, I was probably right here somewhere on the Richter scale, and that's not cutting it, right? 99.5 will not do. So I just wanted to share a few words, a few scriptures to kind of round out this topic. So James 2:14 through 26 says, "What does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he has faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, Depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what does it profit? Even so faith, if it has not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man may say, You have faith, and I have works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that there is one Elohim. You do well. The devils also believe and tremble. But will you know, O faith, vain man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham, our father, justified by works when he had offered Isaac, his son, upon the altar? See how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of Elohim. Ye see that how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. Likewise, also was not Rechab the harlot justified by works, when she had received the messengers, and had sent them out another way. For as the body without the Ruach is dead, so faith without works is dead also. So like I said, back in the day when I was living lukewarm, I really was not showing forth or bearing any fruit that said my faith was strong in Yah. And when I thought about that and meditated on that, like, I was disheartened. I was really disappointed, really saddened by that, to know that I claimed to really love him and to believe him and have faith, but yet my actions was saying otherwise, right? This says faith without works is dead. So I wanted to get into a few signs that may, show that you lack faith. And these are based on my personal experience, right? And of course I backed it up with scriptures, so that we can round it out and bring it back home, because I want to make sure we're sticking to the book, sticking to the script, okay? So the first sign that you lack faith is disobedience to Yah's word, or being rebellious. So like I was just saying, faith without works is dead. Like, if you have faith, you're supposed to be obedient. You're supposed to be trusting in his word, right? And trusting that whatever he's saying and commanding you to do is good. It's not meant to harm you. It's meant for your good, right? Yah is very specific and very intentional about every single matter that we may have to encounter here in our walk on earth. And those instructions will save us from so much heartache and pain if we just believe one, right? And then actually put that belief into action. So the lack of faith is just simply unbelief, and the result of unbelief is disobedience. Hebrews 3:15 through 19 says, While it is said, Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit not all that came out of Mitzrayim by Moshe, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness? And to whom swore he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. So Paul is equating belief. Paul equates belief and my bad, y'all. Shaul equates belief and obedience, and unbelief and disobedience, right? So, like I said, if you do not believe, you're not going to be obedient, right? If you believe, really, like you say you do, you're going to be obedient to what the Father is saying. John 14:12-15 says, Amen, amen, I say unto you, he that believes on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, guard my commandments. If ye love me, this is Yahushua speaking. If you love me, guard my commandments. And his commandments are from the Father, right? He did what the Father instructed him to do. So, disobedience, reiterating, a sign that you may lack faith, is if you are disobedient to Yah's word, right? Because if you love him, you will be obedient. James 2:22 says, see how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. Just something to reflect on and meditate on. Number 2, the second sign that you may lack faith is operating out of fear. Whew. This used to be major for me. Like, I would be so full of doubt, so fearful to put forth a message, to walk in my calling, to do whatever. And if I say that I love him, if I say that I believe in him, but yet I really don't trust him like I'm supposed to, like, because if I trusted like I was supposed to, I wouldn't be fearful of anything. Like, we are not supposed to be operating out of fear. And when we operate out of fear, that shows a sign that we are lacking something, right? Lacking trust, lacking faith. And 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for Elohim has not given us the Ruach, or the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. He has not given us the spirit of fear. So where does fear come from? It doesn't come from Yah. It doesn't come from above, right? And when we are operating out of fear, it really cripples us and really, hinders our faith walk and our obedience in Yah. And it just does so much damage to us spiritually, right? So it's really important that you really ask Yah to really work on that fear, right? Really remove this from you, and get that up out of your life, up out of your heart, your mind, so that you can walk upright in confidence, in Yahushua, through Yahushua HaMashiach, so that you can be victorious on this walk. Joshua 1:9, have not I commanded you? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for Yahuwah is with you whithersoever you go. If he's with us wherever we go, we have nothing to fear. Like, he is our ultimate protector. Woo! Woo! Our ultimate protector, especially in these last days that we are in, these times that we living in. I don't know if y'all been like looking at the news and seeing how it's like lining up. Woo! Lining up with the word, lining up with Bible prophecy. But anyways, we are going to need to really have some strong faith in these times to be able to endure into the end, and to make it across the finish line without any fear. because we're going to see some things. We're going to have to personally go through some things, may even have to lose our lives for the cause. But you got to be willing to lay down your life. You got to be willing to die, right? You got to be willing to be beheaded if that's your assignment. We have all been given an assignment in these last days, and even though we may not know what that is today, you got to be ready for whatever. Okay. Another sign that you lack faith is not loving your brethren who you can see. So 1 John 4:20 says, if a man say, I love Elohim, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he that loves not his brother whom he has seen, how can he love Elohim whom he has not seen? How can you say you have faith in someone that you have not seen, and you can't even show love to the person right next to you who you can see in the flesh, in the natural? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense, right? So how are you showing love to your brethren, right? You know, the commandments, right? The covenant that was given to us from our Heavenly Father. The gist of the commandments is, one, to love Yah with all your everything, heart, mind, body, soul, and then love your neighbor like you love yourself, right? Like when you break down the commandments, the first half is showing love to Yah. The second half is showing love to your neighbor, to your brethren. So if you can't even love your brethren who you can see, how can you really say you have faith in Yah? And lastly, another sign that you lack faith is trusting in man over Yah. Jeremiah 17:5-6 says, thus says Yahuwah, cursed be the man that trusts in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from Yah. For he shall be like the juniper in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, and a salt land and not inhabited. Self-explanatory, right? Cursed be the man that trusts in man. Period. We cannot put our trust in man. We cannot put our trust in the government, in this beast system. Because when we do that, it leads us astray. When we put trust in man, man leads us astray. Like, we got to go directly to the source, directly to the Father, and put our whole trust in him. Woo! Because he will direct our paths. He will make sure we're taken care of. He will protect us. He will provide for us, not man. Not our jobs, not our pastors, not our, like I said, not this government and its systems. None of it. We have to put our trust and faith in the Most High. Jeremiah 17:7-8. Blessed is the man that trusts in Yahuwah, and whose hope Yahuwah is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreads out of her roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat comes, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Just think about how blessed you'll be if you put your whole trust and faith in Yah. You will be as firm as a tree. Like, you won't be able to be shaken, stirred, none of that when trials and tribulations come your way, because you already know who your source is. Psalms 146:3. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the son of Adam, in whom there is no help. In the Son of Man, essentially. Psalms 118:8-9. It is better to trust in Yahuwah than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in Yahuwah than to put confidence in princes. Whew. Wow. So that's just 4 signs, right? And like I said, that's kind of based on my personal experience, my personal faith walk, the things that came up for me and that were stumbling blocks for me, the disobedience, right? And not really following his commands and his instructions, doing what I wanted to do, living life recklessly, living just like the world, looking just like the world, no clear distinction between me as a set apart believer and the unbeliever, because I was doing what they were doing, right? Operating out of fear, letting fear stop me in my tracks from fulfilling my purpose, letting fear, hold me back from really walking out my faith and confidence. Not loving your brethren who you can see, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, when you love someone, like, it shows forth in your actions. And sometimes I just, wasn't loving on people like I should have been. And then also trusting in man over Yah. And that's because I really didn't know Yah's words. I didn't even know what Yah's innermost thoughts were, how he felt, what he thinks, what he says about me. Woo! That's because I wasn't in this word, right? And now that I'm in this word heavily, of course that's going to build my faith up. Of course that's going to build my trust in him over anyone else. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, I was studying Hebrews, and in Hebrews 11, we can see the fruits of having true faith in Abba Yah. And I just want to just read some of this passage for us. So it reads, starting at 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. Woo, that's powerful. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased Elohim. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Listen to that. Without faith it is impossible to please Yah. Verse 7. By faith Noah, being warned of Elohim of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the savings of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. Noah and his family were saved from the destruction that Yah brought forth because of the wickedness, simply because he believed what the Father said to him. If he did not believe, he wouldn't have been warning the people for 120 years. He wouldn't have been building that ark. He would have just laughed it off and kept living his life like nothing was going to happen, like Yah was playing around. Yah's not playing around with us. When he says something, he means it, and his word does not change. Verse 8. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. He went anyways. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. Because Abraham was faithful, his seed was blessed and shall be blessed forever. And due to the everlasting covenant that Yah made with Abraham, because he simply believed in Yah. Whew. Verse 11, I'm going to skip down to verse 11. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. You know, at first Sarah like giggled and laughed to herself when she was like, okay, I'm a little old, too old to be having a child. But after that, you know, she straightened her act up and she believed what Yah said. She held on to that promise. Whew. 17, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. That's powerful right there, right? Because one is a prophecy of Yahushua HaMashiach to come, right? Abraham offered up his only begotten son to be killed, to be sacrificed. And because of that, Yah found favor. Whew. 20, by faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshiped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. 23, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. 24, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Elohim than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Mashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Woo! By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who was invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians, assaying to do, were drowned. Drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David, Samuel, the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions. I can go on, right? You can read it, Hebrews 11, for yourself. But this just goes to show through faith, anything is possible through faith. Anything is possible through faith. So to sum it all up, major things happen by faith, like I just said. And a few more scriptures to keep written in your hearts and mind before we log off for today is 2 Corinthians 5 and 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. 1 Peter 1, 8 and 9, whom having not seen ye love, in whom, though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. 1 Corinthians 16, 13, watch ye, stand fast in the faith, act you like men, be strong. And lastly, Romans 1, 17, for therein is the righteousness of Elohim, revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. So I just wanted to share that with you all. I pray that this was helpful and gave you a little something to meditate on and to really reflect on, to see, like, are there any areas where you are lacking faith, right? Like, how can you strengthen your faith walk? Like I said, faith now more than ever is so important, and by faith anything is possible. We're able to conquer anything. We're able to put those old stinking sins to death once and for all through our faith. You know, because like we said earlier, faith without works is dead. When we believe, when we have faith, we're going to start changing our walk. We're going to start doing things differently. We're going to start living differently and looking differently. We're going to actually be looking set apart. So I will catch you all, y'all willing, on the next one, whenever that may be. Shalom, family. Have a good day. Bye.